Airplane Flying Handbook Ground Operations. Let's get into the real deal. Ground operations aren't just about steering planes around. Nope. It's also about sizing up the risks that come with taking flight and being the maestro of resources to make sure everything's smooth sailing. But for now, let's hit some key points. Risk and resource management. Ever wonder why almost 85% of aviation accidents point the finger at failure of the pilot too? It's a wake-up call, folks. The key to cutting down on these mishaps is nailing risk and resource management. Flying brings a whole different set of risks compared to your everyday stuff like driving to work. It's not just about pulling off those slick maneuvers, it's about making a conscious effort to handle risks beyond the basic stick and rudder skills needed to fly the plane. So, let's get into the nitty-gritty of managing these risks and resources. Risk management. It's not just a casual stroll through potential problems, it's a full-blown, structured process to sniff out and tackle hazards. What's a hazard, you ask? It's anything, from conditions to events, that might lead to an unplanned disaster, basically, a potential source of trouble. Here are some hazard examples. Weather or environmental conditions playing hard to get. Pilots not quite hitting the mark in terms of qualifications, staying current, or polishing their flying skills for the upcoming journey. Identifying the hazard. If pilots miss spotting a hazard or, even worse, choose to ignore it, the consequences of that risk hang around like an unwanted party guest. Marginal weather or environmental conditions. Hazard spotted. It's on the radar because it could mean the pilot needs superhero skills to handle the weather or demands airplane performance that's just not in the cards. Lack of pilot training. Another hazard on the radar. This one's blinking because the pilot might be missing the legal requirements or the basic skills needed for a safe flight. Risk. Let's talk about risk. The crystal ball into the future, shaped by hazards that are still running wild. Think of it as the uncertainty waiting to unfold. Weather or environmental conditions. Imagine not giving these the attention they deserve. An airplane might find itself in a tight spot, like unexpected instrument conditions, leading to the dreaded loss of control. Pilots' lack of training. Now, picture a pilot not getting the proper assessment. They might end up in situations where their flying skills are pushed to the limit. It's like sending someone into a battle with a water gun, not the best idea. Risk assessment. It's like weighing the pros and cons of a decision. You're essentially asking yourself, is the risk involved worth the outcome of what I'm planning to do? Once you're in the thick of things, the big question becomes whether to soldier on or hit the brakes. Always have a backup plan ready to roll in case your original game plan hits a snag. That's where hazard and risk take center stage in risk management. In the scenario where dodgy weather is the hazard, it's crystal clear that losing control in unexpected instrument conditions could lead to serious trouble for a pilot not equipped for instrument flying. So, when pilots crunch the numbers with a risk assessment, they can make informed decisions to handle and minimize their risk. Risk identification. Recognizing potential hazards and evaluating associated risks is paramount in averting accidents and ensuring aviation safety. When pilots neglect to actively seek out potential risks, they run the perilous risk of overlooking or underestimating these threats. In the aviation realm, even minor lapses in judgment can cascade into catastrophic outcomes, leaving little room for learning from trial and error. Standard operating procedures serve as invaluable tools in this context, providing pilots with systematic approaches to identify, assess, and manage risks effectively. Risk mitigation. Once a pilot assesses the level of risk associated with a particular flight, the next crucial step is risk mitigation. Consider a scenario where a visual flight rules pilot plans a 50-mile flight from point A to point B under marginal weather conditions. Several risk mitigation strategies are at the pilot's disposal. Weather wait. Postpone the flight until weather conditions improve to favorable visual flight rules status. Experienced pilot. Opt to fly with a more experienced pilot or one certified under instrument flight rules. Flight delay. Choose to delay the departure, allowing time for conditions to become more conducive. Flight cancellation. Decide to cancel the flight altogether. 5. Surface transportation. Consider an alternative mode of transportation, such as driving, to mitigate the aviation-related risks. Resource management. Understanding and applying crew resource management and single-pilot resource management is vital for effective resource utilization and ensuring successful flights. While crew resource management is commonly associated with crew operations, single-pilot resource management becomes especially relevant in general aviation, where single pilot scenarios are more prevalent. Single pilot resource management encompasses the following key components: situational awareness, human resource management, task management, aeronautical decision-making. Situational awareness. Situational awareness is the precise understanding of operational and environmental factors influencing the flight. It involves a systematic analysis considering the aircraft, external support, environment, and the pilot. It goes beyond mere awareness to encompass a thorough comprehension of the ongoing events within and around the flight. Human resource management. Human resource management in aviation involves the efficient utilization of all available resources, encompassing human, equipment, and information components. Human resources include crucial personnel collaborating with pilots to ensure the safety of flight. These individuals, ranging from weather briefers and flight line personnel to maintenance staff and air traffic controllers, play vital roles. Effective communication with these collaborators is essential, utilizing key components such as inquiry, advocacy, and assertion. Pilots should actively seek information from these resources to make informed decisions, and the outcomes of these decisions should be communicated to relevant parties. Modern aircraft often feature automated flight and navigation systems, offering relief from routine tasks but introducing new challenges. While automation aims to reduce pilot workload, it can potentially diminish situational awareness and induce complacency. Pilots must consistently monitor information from automated systems, understanding both their capabilities and limitations to manage them effectively and safely. Managing information workloads and automated systems, including autopilots, is crucial for a safe flight. Planning ahead allows pilots to reduce workload during critical flight phases, preventing overload and stress in later, more crucial stages of the journey. Effectively balancing these elements ensures a smooth and secure aviation operation. Task management. Pilots operate within a finite capacity for processing information. When the flow of information surpasses a pilot's mental processing capabilities, any excess information either goes unattended or displaces other ongoing tasks and information processing. Distraction and fixation further hinder the ability to process information effectively. For instance, if a pilot becomes fixated on a minor issue like an instrument light failure, this unnecessary focus can displace their capacity and hinder the recognition of more critical tasks. Maintaining focus on essential information and tasks is vital to ensuring safe and effective flight operations. Aeronautical decision-making. Safe flying involves the effective integration of three distinct skill sets: the fundamental stick and rudder skills for controlling the airplane, proficiency in operating aircraft systems, and skills related to aeronautical decision-making. The aeronautical decision-making process addresses all aspects of decision-making in the flight deck and identifies the steps involved in good decision-making. While the aeronautical decision-making process does not eliminate errors, it helps the pilot recognize errors and enables the pilot to manage the error to minimize its effects. These steps are: identifying personal attitudes hazardous to safe flight, learning behavior modification techniques, learning how to recognize and cope with stress, developing risk assessment skills, using all available resources, evaluating the effectiveness of one's own personal aeronautical decision-making skills. Ground operations. Navigating the airport ramp presents a multifaceted challenge for pilots, given the diverse mix of airport personnel, passengers, vehicles, and aircraft. The pilot shoulders the responsibility for safe airplane operation in this intricate environment, demanding constant vigilance. Unique hazards accompany ground operations, necessitating meticulous planning and acute situational awareness. A crucial mitigation tactic involves reviewing the airport diagram before operation and keeping it easily accessible. Whether arriving or departing from the ramp, the pilot must adeptly manage various aspects. Refueling operations. Passenger and baggage security and loading. Ramp and taxi operations. Standard ramp signals. During refueling, it's advisable to evacuate all passengers from the aircraft and oversee the process to ensure correct fuel type and quantity. Passengers, often unfamiliar with open ramps, should strictly follow designated paths for safety. The pilot should supervise baggage loading to prevent adverse effects on the aircraft's center of gravity. Ramp traffic varies, from open spaces to bustling environments with powerful aircraft generating exhaust blasts or rotor downwash. Mitigating these hazards is critical for a safe departure. In some cases, ramp personnel may assist pilots in safely navigating from the ramp to the taxiway. The up next figure illustrates standard aircraft taxiing signals, as found in publications like the Aeronautical Information Manual. Other standard signals may exist, depending on sources like Advisory Circular 0034 in the Armed Forces. Operational conditions may require a modified set of signals, emphasizing the importance of each operational center adopting a suitable, agreed-upon set of signals. Engine starting. Airplane engine starting procedures are crucial and should align with the approved engine start checklist in the Airplane Flight Manual's Pilot's Operating Handbook. However, this section outlines generally accepted practices to mitigate hazards during engine start. Before starting the engine, the pilot must ensure the clearness of the ramp area to prevent contact with persons, equipment, or other hazards. Checking the space behind the airplane is also standard practice to avoid propeller-induced damage or injury. Anti-collision lights should be on at all times before engine start, and for night operations, position lights should also be activated. Before engaging the starter, the pilot should call "clear" and await a response, ensuring the surroundings are safe. When activating the starter, the pilot should depress the wheel brakes and keep one hand on the throttle to manage the initial engine speed, preventing a rapid lunge forward. After start, throttle manipulation sets the engine RPM to the prescribed setting, typically 1000 revolutions per minute initially to allow oil pressure to rise and minimize wear. Proper oil grade for seasonal conditions and engine preheat in freezing temperatures are crucial. Monitoring oil pressure post-start is essential, ensuring it reaches the specified value in the Audio Frequency Modulation Pilot's Operating Handbook. If pressure limits are not met and maintained, serious internal engine damage is likely. Shutting down the engine is necessary if oil pressure doesn't reach specified values within the required time. Engine starters, being electric motors, are not designed for continuous duty, and prolonged or difficult starts can damage internal components. Avoid continuous starter operation for more than 30 seconds without a cool-down period. Burning insulation smell indicates prolonged cranking. After repeated unsuccessful starts, seeking advice from a qualified person is recommended. If you click like and subscribe and leave a comment, we will provide a coupon for a free PDF download, one of 9 ebooks. However, each individual can only download up to 1 out of 9 ebooks for free.